What's going on, guys? Happy 2018 to all of you. I know it's been a while since the last video. I think maybe 6 or 7 months ago. But, due to the holidays and other things going on, I didn't have a lot of time to record videos and such. But I'm back, and this video is going to be a little different. I want to talk about my experience of how I became a writer, a fiction writer. And in the 11 years that I've began this journey, I've come to know that there is no definitive way in beginning such a journey as a writer. I know that the majority believe that reading is the gold standard and how you begin, but that's not true at all. And for those who want to start writing, whether it's short stories, autobiographies, fantasy, or what have you, there are many different ways you can do this. Some people just like to read a lot of books. Others like to stem from personal experiences. But for me, it all began from a video game that I like to call God of War 2. Now, for those of you who are gamers, back in the PS2 days, even the early PS3 days, God of War, made by Santa Monica Studios, really set the bar extremely high for, combat, gameplay, and deep, rich story within the Greek mythology. So I'm playing God of War 2 one afternoon, and I'm having a lot of fun and whatnot, until I reach the end. This is one of those games, one of the first for me that had a cliffhanger ending. And once the game said to be concluded, for God of War 3, I just sat there with my jaw dropped. And looking back on it now, it was a good thing that my jaw dropped to the floor, because it left me wanting more. It didn't make me angry or piss me off. I wanted to see more, but at the time, I for a moment I didn't have any control over my actions. So I got up, and put the controller down. I got up, walked over to my desk in my bedroom, and pulled out an old sketchbook and started outlining, a fan's point of view for how God of War 3 was going to go down. And by the time I was finished with it, I reflected on it, I looked back, and I was just as shocked as my friend was when I sent it to him the next day. Up until, playing that game, I've never written anything at all in my life. But, when he came back to me, my friend, after he read what I had, was about maybe 5 or 6 pages worth of material, he was just as astounded as I was. Not to toot my own horn, I'm not the kind of guy who does that, because like I said, I never written anything up until that point. But he told me, he swore to me up and down that I somehow had like exclusive plot info from the developer themselves, Santa Monica Studios. And I told him no. It just came up in my brain, and I just jotted it down. There was no deeper mystery, or anything like that whatsoever. But it was something it was something that enticed me to start writing, because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do in my life. I had a few ideas. One of them was become a movie producer. I was always so fascinated by different types of movies, from science fiction, action, adventure. But there's some, at some point you change your mind, and you start seeing yourself as in these positions. Like, do you want to go this route? Do you want to go this other route? Some things, being a screenwriter or being a movie producer. Because I took a class in high school, video production, and suffice it to say, not everybody in that class wanted to work as a team. And God help you if you had an opinion of your own for a video project. But with that being said, I wanted to continue writing. And over the years, I've written fan fiction tales, based on the Halo series by Bungie Studios and 343 Industries. I wanted to write one for Max Payne, Metal Gear Solid, a few others. Yeah, even my own material, which was a short story series called The Lone Soul. It was a sci-fi. It was a sci-fi fiction story that was a template to, well, actually, to what I'm doing now. What I'm doing now is I'm in the process of completing my first ever novel. I want to self-publish it on the website, on two websites actually, Lulu.com and Amazon. This one is a sci-fi horror take on the series. It's called Soul Leapers. And I'll leave a link to that in the description below. But yeah, it's been a really good experience for me as a writer. I've taken each day one step at a time. I'm very critical of my work. What they say, you are your own worst critic. And when I began, that wasn't always good, because there was a time when I would complete something and just leave it as is. I wasn't going to take it any further. But as I've gotten older and the more I honed my craft, I became maybe at times too critical. But I'm trying to do better with that, and because I'm always proofreading and editing my work. But the main problem for me is trying to find people to critique my work. I've had a few people here and there, but other people who have been writers, published authors, I've given some tips on how to tackle certain things like plot points and characterization, and not to show don't tell, basically. And it's helped me a lot in that regard. I still have a ways to go. I'm definitely no J.K. Rowling or Tolkien or any other famous author for that matter. I know there are other famous authors out there, like George R.R. Martin from A Song of Ice and Fire book series. Now, another thing I want to bring up is I'm not a big reader. I know I'm supposed to read, but like I said at the beginning of this video, that there are other ways to go about it. For me, I'm a visual type of writer. I watch a lot of movies. I play a lot of plot-heavy video games, such as the Uncharted series by Naughty Dog, and Telltale's The Walking Dead, and a few other games as well from Telltale Games, where the games themselves rely heavily on plot. And the one thing I've learned over the years as a writer is that I don't watch movies or watch anything, or visually view anything as as just an entertainment value. It's still there. It's definitely the reason I still watch movies, obviously. But when I watch a movie, I pick apart certain scenes or reimagine them, or reimagine like certain characters in my head. Like, the script is weak, I try to put something like rewrite the script in my head, basically, like certain scenes, like how the dialogue will flow a lot better, try to avoid cliches and stuff. And that's another learning tool that I've learned. It's really important to do stuff like that, and that applies to any type of writer. So, like I said, for those of you who are beginning their writing journeys, I should say, or they have been for the past few years, regardless of what you do, it's do what's right for you. Do what works. Don't just listen to someone who tells you just read all the time, all day, every day, because you're gonna tire yourself out. You're gonna get headaches and whatnot. Do what's best for you as a writer, and also, and I've learned this as well. If you're going into this, searching for attention, looking for fame and stuff, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. I'm sorry. Just write for the passion of it. You'll feel a lot better. And always seek feedback whenever you can. Maybe you'll have maybe you'll have better luck than I did, because back then when I started, I didn't like people were critiquing my work very much, but I do know now that's paramount for making my work better. So where do I see my writing go in the future? You're probably wondering. Well, I'm probably wondering as well. Right now, I still have my novel. It's part 1 of a 5-part series that I'm working on, or trying to work on. Trying to find time. I'm almost done with the first book. I have about maybe like 3 or 4 chapters left. But I do have some plans on making major edits in the first book. Take a chapter or two, bring some plot points that I introduced like later in the story, bring them back up to the beginning so they flow a lot better. I have three of the next books are going to be sci-fi fantasy heavy, and the last one is going to be more towards the horror aspect. It's heading back to the horror roots aspect as the first book is. So I'm really excited to get them done and hopefully self-publish them in a year or two. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say of how I became as a writer. And it hasn't been an easy journey. Nothing in life is, whatever career you choose to do, it's not going to be easy. Obviously, if it is easy, then everybody would do it, but not everybody can become a doctor or a police officer or even an author. Writing books or writing short stories or anything, it's definitely not easy. You have to work at it every day. Seek feedback. Like I said, do what works for you. Watch whatever you want. If you're like a concept artist, it's whatever. So with that being said, thank you for watching. Oh, just before I go, I left links in the description for other YouTubers that have helped me. That helped me format how I'm gonna take my videos in the future. It's really great content that they have, so check them out as well. And the next episode, hopefully that'll be uploaded maybe in a couple weeks. So yeah, take care, and yep, see you in the next video.